Arcane. Can you see that picture there, Tony, in the live stream text? It says, "You wait till I do my test." And then there's a couple of pictures. Well, one a drawing, the other one's a screenshot. Might look familiar, the screenshot.
Not are you?
What?
About you wait. Slice says.
Yeah. Does that say that is my test, or you wait till I do my test and a couple of pictures of something? Doesn't really mean much, does it?
Where he's coming from.
And then and then to read the bit underneath that. It says, "I drew it. It's a design. Would you like to discuss it tomorrow?" I've been working on the level thing for a while. We could share
but
a few thoughts.
if it's his picture, he's going to play the arsehole card, isn't he? He's going to play the "that's my picture, you can't use it without my permission."
Oh, give over.
That's what he's going to say.
Well, like, if that's his reason for not talking to me, because I've drawn a picture.
He's going to be an arsehole about it, I can guarantee it.
Yeah, right, and then he said, "Why did you use my graphics images from my test location and then word your posts as if it were your test?" Well, where's it? Where have I said that? It's just a test. We can go through quite a few of these. Everybody else.
I think it was more Sly's interpretation.
Yeah, he just sort
and
of,
everybody else's interpretation of what you said.
yeah. They don't. They interpret the words that I use. Like, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Like, what would be the expected? Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I would like to guess. Would you like to guess the amount of curve expected in the method described above? I mean, what are these sort of bad questions to be asking?
Shame on you, Bev.
I know. Getting them talking about water levels. And then Cosmo starts, and I put, "They'll do that, I'm sure."
So now they're talking about it. It means that you got a wave to ride here, haven't you?
Yeah, that's why we've got to go. Oh, keep going with it. Okay.
I think last night with Rumpus, I think that when we were talking about the word straight, and I said that curved.
Yeah.
Our strongest argument.
I know. Yeah. I think I can go on Nathan's today and show it a bit better, right? If this dude comes from Twitter, I'll explain it a bit better to him. Do you reckon? Pepe, are you like scared of being in here and having a conversation? Is that why you're quiet? Because there's too many people in here and you're scared?
Well, definitely it is intimidating.
Is it? Who's the most intimidating? Emma?
It's only gonna be intimidating if you start saying silly things like curved means straight. Straight means curved, because that would be really silly, and I could understand why you'd be intimidated, or that would be like saying hot is cold, right?
Right.
You don't think straight can be curved, do you?
No, it can't.
Straight. So I don't see how you'd feel that there would be any intimidation in here.
I have not good memories of past times I have talked
What, it from
like
in
this.
here?
Not in here, I think it was in another place.
Okay.
Whilst he decides whether or not he's going to come out of his shell or not, Bev, you need
But-
to know that Latin phrase.
What do you
think that
want to
Latin
talk about?
Well, I was just trying to get sorted, Pepe, because you've got a Twitter troll wants to come in and have a talk with me. So I was just making sure that this isn't an intimidating place for people to have a chat, is it? So if somebody were to come here and then want some special snowflake rules in order to be able to talk to somebody, that'd be pretty bad, right?
Well, it depends.
On what does
At
it
least
depend
I
on?
would want not to be interrupted by everyone in this room.
And
To have turns.
how often does
There
that
are like
happen?
a lot more flat earthers here than one glober. There's turns you could all talk, but
Oh, do you feel
and-
intimidated now then?
yes, I do.
You do? Very brave of you.
Can't tell you. I'm shaking right now.
Why would you sit there feeling intimidated? Why wouldn't you just leave?
It's not enough to make me leave.
No, you can have it both ways. If you feel
What
intimidated,
is it that you're intimidated by?
Situation
is it the
by leaving.
intellect? So you're
But
breaking up, Tony.
there's not only the part being intimidated. There's other parts that make it worth being here.
What, the knowledge you gain?
Entertainment.
Entertainment? So, what, like scary, like a horror movie?
Really
No,
quite annoying because I'm
You find
ever
being
then to-
intimidated entertaining?
come in and
you're cutting out, Emma.
yeah.
But what interested in knowing what?
I was just going to say, finding it intimidating, but then it's entertaining. It's a little bit strange because I don't think anyone tends
No, you
to.
aren't. You definitely aren't.
Yeah, we tend to treat most people with respect as long as they
You
do
do.
the same. So
Yes, I totally agree.
yeah, that's what we try and do here.
I think you find most people apply the rule, I'll treat people as reason.
You're
And you'll
proper
generally get
breaking
that
up there,
back.
Tony. Is he breaking up for everybody else as well? Like,
Yes. for me.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I had my thing on really high. Sorry. You'll generally find that people treat each other the way they get treated. Generally, not always, but generally.
Thing is, if someone's experienced something that, in other chat rooms, which we all have, haven't we? We've all been in situations where, not necessarily intimidation, but, shouting over each other and can be a little bit. But here, it's not like that. So, be free, feel free to talk about a topic you want to talk about. Just bring it up and have a go at you or anything. I mean, interested to hear what you got to say once these guys are finished talking about what they're talking about.
Okay, thank you.
You need to know that phrase, expressio unis est exclusio alteris. I might have butchered the pronunciation of it, but that phrase is what stops him from using bendy and straight interchangeably.
Does it mean?
go on, what does it mean then? The expression mention of one. Oh, right, that's just in relation to that one definition.
Well, when you're looking at Perkins and he says it's a straight, it's a point. the word line is he uses the word line and points interchangeably. Now that's one thing that he needs to correct on it, and he wouldn't concede on was it was to do with circular geometry and perpendicular. It was when he said, I said, if it said blue, you wouldn't mean red, would you? It would be just blue. If you think about wiring a plug, if it said put the brown to the live, it doesn't mean put the blue to the live, does it? It means put the brown to the live. So in the same way that you can't wire a plug with different colours just because he says that you can. It was to do with, Emma, remind me, what was it that he was using? So it was straight. It was straight lines of perpendicular,
It
not
says-
curved
it-
I
lines.
was using
It says
zebra.
straight.
Right? Didn't he use zebra as a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another one, yeah. And I'm like, no, if it says zebra, it doesn't mean lion or horse. It means zebra,
Bev,
right?
you've got a friend in the chat.
Say again.
Bev has a friend, but he's posted in the welcome chat for some reason. You're running hippo.
Yeah. Yeah, pop on down.
Is this the one who wanted the private room?
Well,
though?
I don't know. Like he can come down and discuss. Surely, like
I don't know.
Pepe should be able to lure him down here and say, "Come down. We're not that scary.
We're not
honestly."
we're not gonna shout over you.
It's only talking, isn't it, Pepe? So, what do you think? Right, if he says that, I would say, well, what are you defining perpendicular? It's within geometry, right? Now, if it's within geometry, state your geometry that you're using and use the definition from that geometry, if that's how you want to define the word. That's why I go to
I think-
Euclidean geometry definition of
I think
perpendicular.
I think that's an equal and opposite way of saying it, the same thing. But the problem with saying it that way is that he conflates Euclidean and non-Euclidean by saying straight can be curved.
Well, he should
But-
give the definition of perpendicular within his geometry, surely. You can't just say there are other geometries and it doesn't state within that definition that we can't have purple chicken perpendiculars within Rumponian geometry. So therefore, I'm going to have them, right? You know, like he should have to come, anyone claiming anything like that should have to come with a definition, right? You can't just make me claim something else.
Yeah, but I think the devil's in the detail with the definition. No, I think because he's conflating the two geometries.
But
and
no,
won't
Tony,
concede that
he's not giving you a definition. He's just saying, no, not that definition. I'm going to imagine something else.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that what you're saying is the same point as what I'm saying, but you're doing it based on his interpretation. But if you limit his interpretation, so it's the one that it says, not the one it doesn't say, then I don't see how we can go beyond that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying use that phrase, because that phrase stops you from wiring a blue wire to the live instead of the brown wire, because brown can mean blue if you do what he says. It's ridiculous.
Welcome, running hippo. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Bev.
Morning.
How are you?
Fine, thank you very much. And you?
Not bad at all. First cup of coffee. Still a wee bit early here.
Who is that? Who is that? Do we have a name? What do I call you? Running?
you probably best as Hippo.
Hippo. Okay.
Yeah, that comes from my days when I did a lot of triathlons. I swim well, I bike well, but man, my running always sucked.
Okay. water. I like it. Okay, so you wanted to come and talk about
Your test.
sweet.
Yeah.
We have some chat first about like what do you imagine level as being, because that's the basis of what the test is, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, so level, elevation, horizontal are related in the way that I think about it, but not necessarily in the way that you think about it, right? But I suppose you and I can get into a long argument about whether it's flat or whether it's curved. I'm pretty confident in it being curved, but that's actually irrelevant, right? So it's what you want to show and what you want to test. And I'm actually perfectly happy to want to help make that test A, feasible, B, reasonable, and then interpret it correctly. Right? So I have no intention of trying to convince you of anything.
No, the test is the test, dude.
Yeah, but the test in the way that both models work or fail to work. The test in
models.
Model, yeah, flat Earth model versus globe model.
No, there's reality. That's where this test is going.
Okay, but hang on a second. Until you've shown that to yourself, you have not proven the hypothesis that the Earth is flat. Any more than you've proven that the hypothesis.
That's not the hypothesis here.
What is the hypothesis?
That level is horizontal, as known, practically used. And that teaching, and teaching that level being horizontal is not child abuse.
And how are you doing that with your test?
By making a test to prove that the shape.
But well, that was circular. But it doesn't do that, right? In the way that I think you're running the test, and you know, that's what I wanted to come talk about. In the way that I think you're running the test, it won't actually show that.
Okay, well, isn't that what we're here to discuss? The test.
Yes, it is.
Right.
It is.
I'm just trying to find a board wiper. I don't know where it's gone.
So there's you had on your screen yesterday, because you posted it on Discord. You posted a PowerPoint slide with flat and curved overlaid.
I'm not so sure. If you got it, this is Discord, right? You can just post it in the live.
Yeah, so I'm on my PC, not on my iPad. Let me see if I can send this thing to myself. Hold on. Well, hold on. I posted it yesterday. That'll be a while before I find that. Because Kay's picture is actually pretty good, too.
Is that... Oh, I think you mean... somebody else posted that. I think that was DP that posted
Yeah, Kay did a pretty decent picture, I thought.
Did she?
Yeah, she did. I posted it yesterday.
What she imagined.
Yeah, look, take imagination out of it, and just say that that's what the globe model says would happen. I already know that you don't think it looks that way, well, no, but that's what you got to prove.
With reality, that's what the test's there to do, right?
That's what you're trying to prove. You already predetermined that what you say is absolutely right. Why don't you go run the test?
It is known as that and practically used as level is horizontal. So that's how surveyors work, right? So, yeah. I've just designed a test. Well, there's three ways actually. There's logic, There's geometry, and then there's practical. There's 3 different ways you can prove this.
Logic and geometry both fail to prove anything.
Well, they're both the same thing, and you say geometry doesn't prove things?
No, I said geometry doesn't prove the shape of the Earth. Just sitting down
Wait, listen,
with geometry.
why are you so
only-
obsessed with the shape of the Earth if you got something wrong with you? This is level.
Why are you
being
so obsessed with level? Is there something wrong with you?
Somebody said that I was a child abuser for teaching my son that level is horizontal.
That wasn't me.
No,
Okay.
it was probably one of your friends,
One
one of your team.
What team? I don't have a team.
Well, your team?
I don't have a team.
Does it believe that level is horizontal?
I don't have a team.
Do you believe that level is horizontal?
As a general statement, without more definition, can't answer that. Well, here's why. Here's why. Level at a point, at a singular point.
Do you know much about geometry?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you know much about geometry?
What's geometry? We're talking about your test. Geometry's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it is, because that's what we're dealing with here. You just said point.
I did.
Right, so how do you define a point?
A location, a singular location.
Right, that's a geometrical interpretation of the word point then, right? And then you're going to start talking about lines, aren't you? That's geometry, right?
Yes, okay.
Okay, so when we're talking about points and lines and things like perpendicular and right angles, that's geometry, right? Euclidean geometry, to be specific. So we get our definitions sorted right at the very beginning.
Hold on. When we're talking about points and lines or vertices and lines, we don't necessarily have to be talking about Euclidean geometry. But fine. Euclidean geometry it is.
Yeah, that's how where we're going to get our definitions for geometry from the definition section of Euclidean geometry.
Yeah, look, Bev. I came to talk about your test.
Yep. Well, that's where we have to get the basics sorted.
Hold on.
First.
I am not here to have you tell me how geometry works when you've already demonstrated that you don't understand the language of the Euclidean geometry that is written in the pages that you bring up. Because your definition... Let me finish, please.
Right, okay.
Because your definition of perpendicular says that you require 2 straight lines for perpendicular, which is abjectly wrong.
It is the definition within the elements, book 1, Euclidean geometry. It's not my definition.
Okay, what's the first word in that sentence? When.
When, yeah.
When, not if and only if.
No, when.
Yes.
Yeah.
When
a straight line.
When that happens, that is correct.
A straight line standing on another straight line makes the adjacent angles equal to one another. Each of the angles is called a right angle, and the straight line which stands on the other straight line is called perpendicular to it. It's a definition.
When, not if and only if.
What's it a definition of, please? That is called definition 10, book 1 of the elements Euclidean geometry. What is that a definition of, please?
It's the English translation.
No. That's the
Well,
definition within Euclidean geometry. What can you explain to me what it is the definition of, please?
It is a definition for perpendicular.
It is the definition
Ah,
within
the
Euclidean geometry
The
for
word, the word
perpendicular.
when, the word when is not. You have to get your arms around that.
Describing the exact circumstances when you can say the lines are perpendicular. Now, they need to be straight and at right angles to each other. That's within the definition right there.
Yes, it is.
Plain
It
and
is
simple.
in the definitions, except you are not. It is a definition of perpendicular.
There is no other definitions within
Bevel,
Euclidean
when-
geometry.
Not if and only if. Your assumption that you must have two straight lines in order to have a right angle.
Hang on a minute, you're in violation of something here.
Is he
When it
breaking up for
expressly
me?
states straight lines, it doesn't mean. Did you do Latin at school, sir?
He might get upset that you're interrupting there, Tony.
Say again?
He might consider that you attacking him there.
We're not talking about the test. We're talking about geometry here. That's not what I'm here for.
We're talking about the definition of the words, right? To establish that you understand the meanings and the descriptions and the definitions of the words that we are using before I go on to explain to you the test.
I already understand your definition, and I think it's wrong. Look,
it's not. Listen. This isn't my definition. I'll say it again. It isn't my definition. This is Euclidean geometry definition. I don't control this stuff, and I wouldn't presume to say it's wrong because guess what? It's been checked by quite a few people. And it is probably one of the most perfect works of mathematics ever.
I'm not suggesting Euclid's wrong. I'm suggesting you are wrong.
Oh, don't be
How can you suggest he's wrong? Let's hear your reason for why.
Because a right angle does not require two straight lines.
It does. It says the word straight in the definition.
I'm sorry, what?
It says the word straight in the definition. It doesn't say any other word.
When, not if and only if. When.
That's conclusive. When.
No, it's not.
So
when
what is
these
it then?
conditions are met, something is perpendicular. Does not mean that there does hold. Let me finish, please. That does not mean that those are the only conditions under which
it does, because otherwise it would.
Perpendicular.
Yeah, it does, because otherwise it would be the opposing statement would be true. When these conditions are not met, then perpendicular is not met.
That's absolutely not true.
It's a work of logic.
No, actually, it's a semantical meaning of the words in this instance. If you're going to say,
and if
let me ask you something.
That was supposed to be a clear definition, the wording has to be if and only if. It's not written as if and only if. Because
no, it says when. It says when. Listen, let me ask you something.
Not if and only if.
Let me ask you something. If you wire a plug and it says in the instructions to put the brown wire to live, does that mean put the blue wire to the live?
Irrelevant example.
It's identical because when it says straight lines, when it says straight lines, it's describing the line that you're looking at, right? In the same way that the colour denotes the wire that you connect to live. So if you're saying that you can put a bendy line in there, I'm going to then say, well, that means I can put the blue wire to the live, and that would be okay according to your standard.
Okay, so let me give you a different example. I'm gonna take my bicycle and I'm gonna go in the front of my house and I'm gonna make a right-hand turn. And when I make a right-hand turn, I get to the gas station that's a mile down the road. Does that mean that is the only way I can get to that gas station?
In that description, yes. Otherwise, you would have said some other description.
Now, nonsense. Because
No.
when I take a right-hand turn, I get to the gas station, is true, but does not require that I make a right-hand turn to get to the gas station.
Yeah, but it didn't say that. It said when you make a right-hand turn, you get to the gas station.
Correct.
So if you do make a right-hand turn, you do get to the gas station, right?
But
It doesn't
if I
say.
make,
But it doesn't say turn right and get to the gas station. But then you turn left and say that that's actually right.
it's not what I said.
No, but by changing the word straight to bent or curved is essentially the same as turning left and getting to the gas station.
No, it's not. Not at all.
Yes, it is. Sir,
No,
did you
it's
take
not.
Latin? Sir, did you take Latin when you went to school?
Yes.
Do you understand this phrase? Expressio unis est exclusio alteris. It means the expressed mention of one thing excludes all the others. So when it says turn right to get to the gas station, that doesn't mean turn left and get to the gas station, does it?
But it also doesn't mean that you can't get to the gas station by turning left.
Yeah, it does, because it's
No, it
saying
does
turn
not.
right. Yeah, it's
Well,
a positive statement.
Okay, so hang on a second. Are you telling me that when I go right out of my house and I get to the gas station, that there is no way to get to the gas station by making a left turn out of my house?
If you were to make a left turn and get to the gas station, then the instructions would be that you made a left turn to get to the gas station. But they weren't, were they? They would make a right turn. So
Hold
no,
on.
you can't.
Hold on.
No.
When
So, no.
When I take a right-hand turn out of my house to get to the gas station is not an instruction.
But it is in this instance with geometry.
Right.
It seems to me that you want to change the meaning of words to suit your narrative.
It seems to me that you want to change the meaning of words to suit your narrative.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
I know. I'm telling you that's what you're doing. When and if and
No.
only if mean two different things. All right, let's
No,
move on.
when it says straight,
Let's move
sir,
on.
it doesn't
Let's
mean
move
bent.
on.
No, let's not move on. When
Okay,
it
then
says
we're done
straight
here. Thank you.
lines,
Guys, it's been a lot of
Bye.
fun. It's been an
Yeah.
awful lot of fun. I came to talk about the test. You guys do not understand geometry.
Yeah,
you guys do not understand
Straight
physics.
lines are not
You
curved
do-
lines, sir.
The definition says when, and when you have two straight lines, you can have a right angle. That does not
Yeah,
mean
so
that
when
is
you don't have
that
straight
does
lines, you
not
cannot.
mean that is the
It
only
does.
condition. No, it does not. And if
Sir,
we
I'm
can't
gonna-
get past that
sir.
point, then we're done here.
Sir, respectfully, I'm going to send you a private message with the phrase that you need to go and research. When you research that phrase, you will realize that when it says straight lines, it does not mean curved lines.
You're a lawyer, aren't you? Or were a lawyer?
So you do know more about us than what you're letting on.
What do you
You
think? Do you think I'm stupid?
Yeah, you indicate that you don't know any of these people of which we speak about that change the meanings of words to suit
No,
the
no, no,
narrative
no,
on
no,
your
no, no,
side.
no. You call them my friends and my team. I didn't say I didn't know them.
So we do know that. So we know that you know far more than what you're letting on. So let's go back to the point. The bottom line is this: when it says straight lines, it doesn't mean bent or curved lines. It means straight.
Okay. Do you know what a vector normal is to a surface?
Yeah, it's
But do you
perpendicular,
understand the
innit?
point I just made?
Perpendicular. Just swap the words perpendicular, right?
Well, a vector normal is a little bit different than just perpendicular, but yeah, okay. A vector
hang on,
normal
hang
on a
on,
curved
hang on,
surface
hang on,
exists.
hang on.
It has to exist.
Hang on, why have we just totally gone past the point I've just made? When it says straight, it doesn't mean curved. That is, you've flipped from it as though flippantly dismissed it. That's not
Yes,
okay.
I have. That's correct, because you don't know what you're talking about in the physical world. You know what you're talking about in Latin, and you may know what you're talking about in law, but you do not know what you're talking about in the physical world. So let's
But
put this
in the
into a
physical
physical
world-
context. What is a vector normal?
In the physical world, we do have straight things and we do have things that are curved, right? We do see straight and curves, right?
Brilliant.
What
Yes.
you're trying to do is make a roundabout into a dual carriageway.
Imagine curving.
So internal pressure on a tire, which is clearly round, right? We can agree on that.
Hand wave dismissal again. Flippantly move past the point.
You made no point. There's nothing to dismiss.
No, I have made a point. You're changing the meanings of words from straight to curved to suit your narrative.
And I'm giving you an example of where a curved surface has a vector normal, which I think that's language that you actually don't comprehend.
Perpendicular, isn't it?
Go on then.
Come on.
Go on then. Give us a circular definition for where there's a vector normal. Do it.
give us a circular definition?
Yeah, you were just about to explain how you've got an example where there's going to be a curve, but you're going to have a vector normal. So let's hear it. Go on.
Do we agree that tires are round?
Yes, of course.
Excellent. What is the force on the tire outward when you inflate the tire to some pressure above local atmospheric conditions?
Pressure.
Excellent. Which direction does it act?
Evenly against the walls of its container in all directions, applying Pascal's law.
Excellent. So the force at every point is normal to the surface? Is it horizontal to the surface? Is it tangent to the surface?
Applying Pascal's law, it's against the surfaces of the container, which will be the tire, including the wheel that it's attached to, in all directions equally. That's
Beautiful.
Pascal's law.
Beautiful. So when you're talking about the tube surface, the cylinder surface of the tire, the contact patch with the road, the force on that is normal to the surface, right? Out. Evenly out.
In isolation to the road, yes, but in the context of the whole wheel and the tire, the pressure contact is evenly against all surfaces, which includes the wheel.
Yes, of course it does. Beautiful.
Right.
Thank you for understanding that. So if I'm talking about a patch of tire that's on the surface, on the exterior of the tire, in the area where you have a contact patch with the road.
Yes.
In that area. Now, I'm not talking about that area because that area is further flattened, which makes it not round. But if you take the wheel, lay it flat on your pavement, inflate it, the pressure that's going out in 360-degree radial direction on the contact area of the tire is normal to its surface. It has to be if it's going to be evenly distributed, and therefore a vector normal is in that very case.
Yeah, only in the footprint of the tire where it's making contact with the road.
I just gave you an example of a perpendicular on a curved surface.
Yeah, only in that one point when you isolate it that way. With regards to the whole wheel and the whole tire attached to the wheel, it's in 360 degrees continuously at all times.
Same example.
Same point. In the same surface, it's in contact with the internal diameter of the ball, the internal surface area of the ball, evenly in all directions.
Beautiful. Because they're evenly distributed, have to be perpendicular to the surface. Otherwise, they couldn't be. Plus, there's no mechanism for doing that, and that also is to the surface at every point. Give you another example of a perpendicular vector on a curved surface.
Yeah, but it's only at that one point. We're not talking about at one point. We're talking about a line.
Every point.
Yeah, but the word isn't the descriptive word. The adjective is not point. It's line.
You suggest the contact point between the two lines, or the contact area between the two lines, is not a point, because the angle only exists at a point.
Yes, that's exactly that word, line and point.
Yeah, okay. Okay, but at a point because it doesn't exist on the line.
Yeah,
it only exists at that point.
Sir, a line is required for a perpendicular. Not what you're saying is correct, but you're referring incorrectly to the point. That's not the definition for perpendicular. It's required a line, not a point.
Because you guys interpret the word when as being exclusive, that you cannot have a right angle, you cannot have a perpendicular unless you have two straight.
But that's because when the word when is used, it's applying the modus tollens analogy. So if there is such a thing happening, so how would we, Bev, do you want to formulate this?
I'm not interested in logic. I am interested in real world measurements, because your interpretation of the word when is exclusive. Listen. It's not if and only if. I gave you an example of We're at a curved surface. You guys don't want to hear it.
No. Listen.
There's
When
no
it says,
point talking.
no, I agree. There is no point because what you criticize us of doing is the exact thing that you're doing yourself. You're changing your narrative. When it says when, it says when you get two straight lines that meet at 90 degrees, you have perpendicular. So when you get two straight lines meeting at 90 degrees, you get lines or two curves. You do not get perpendicular.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's move.
Not
No,
really.
no.
Not really. You cornered me and you want to move on. It's not okay. It doesn't say curves. It says straight. You can't change the word straight for curves. And when it says when, it's inclusive. It's condition that gives you perpendicular. You just don't like it.
It is a condition, and look.
No, it's the condition. It's the condition,
A
not
condition. Okay, great. Fantastic. So we're not going to get agreement on this, which either means we can talk about the test now or we can not talk about the test.
Well, if we can't agree terms at the start, what would be the point?
I'm sorry, what?
If we can't agree to basic terms at the start, what would be the point? Because we don't agree on, we're going to disagree on the application, and then you'll say that we don't understand again.
Well, let's find out.
No, let's not. Let's
No.
agree terms before we move on. We
Well,
need to agree.
we're not going to do that, so I guess there's no point in moving on.
Bye.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Just
Thank you for
because-
your time, sir.
Yeah, no problem. It's been a pleasure. Bye.
Whoa.
What?
What?
Do look up that
No,
Latin
man.
phrase, though. The Latin phrase would help.
Just before we go, right? I just want to check that you understand what a water level is, right? Can I just run you through this? Because you do know what a water level is, right?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll have a little bit of a link to some geometry, right? Let me just,
Well, yeah. Go.
switch my
Put
camera
up the drawings. I mean, look. We can actually have a friendly chat about this. We do not need to go crazy on definition.
Okay. No, 'cause we'll
Yeah, we do. We
No,
do need to have some.
No, we don't.
to think
Just
about
chill.
geometry, right?
Here.
Right? Geometry gives you proof, right? You right? You agree?
Careful with your eyes. Careful with your eyes.
Hippo. Are you there? You can see this,
Yeah, I'm
right?
here. Yeah, careful with your eyes.
Okay. Switch it off. You've got a water level,
Yes.
right? So there is an equalizing of forces or something, whatever. What do you want to call it?
Great.
Yeah.
So
So they
Yep.
always end up horizontal, right?
no, they don't.
What?
The plane, the line defined, when you take these two apart, spread them apart. There you go. Just spread them apart further. Yep, there you go. They're still on the camera.
Yeah.
The
I'm going to put them here, right?
yeah, great.
So I'm going to put this one here, and I'm going
Yep.
to move it over here, right? Now,
Yep.
is this line here level? Like between there and there, will that be a level?
At which point?
Like there, between this one and this one?
Because your definition of level is horizontal, correct?
Level. Like, is this level with this?
How are you defining the word level?
By showing you this and saying this is a water level, right?
Hang on.
And-
Bev. Have you noticed? Bev, have you noticed that he now wants to talk about the meanings of the word level?
Yeah, well, like-
Whereas before, you didn't want to talk about the meanings of the word straight, but now when it suits, you want to talk about the meaning of the word level.
It's just practical, this, right? This is a
Well, if he's-
practical demonstration, right?
I want to know how he's using it because the word level
Is
can be elevation.
this level with this? Just a simple question. Is it?
Are they both at the same elevation? Yes.
Okay, right. So what about if I put it over here? Right? Are they both at the same elevation?
They are both at the same elevation.
Right. Now, is this elevation that it's at here? Let me get that. Is this elevation at Was that at the same elevation that this one was at here, and the same elevation that it was over here?
Elevation, if you had 3 of them in there, put one in the middle, they would all be at the same elevation.
Right. So this elevation here of this one and this one, if I put this on like that and go, that's the same elevation, right? Just to check, that one is at the same as this one, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So we'll switch this off for a minute, and then what we'll do is we'll put another one in the middle here, right? What elevation's that one going to be at?
The same elevation.
I know. It'll be the same.
Will it, Jeff? Or who is that? Who is we talking? Hippo? What elevation do you think that would be at?
I don't know who was just talking.
Let's have a scale, right?
Me. I was talking.
Does the scale of this matter? This water level and the length of this pipe, does it matter to this horizontal?
You've just changed the words.
Well,
You've gone from elevation to horizontal.
it's a straight line.
I'm sorry, what's a straight line?
A horizontal. This across here. Look,
It's
I'll do it again.
okay. So
It's
we talked about elevation, yes?
a straight line, right? Isn't it?
What's the straight line?
This laser level that's going across there. It's
Uh-huh.
floating. Look, it floats and it's level. Pretty much like
Yeah,
this
you
level.
and I probably have the same laser level.
Yeah.
Great.
It's only a cheap one. It's just a house one, that.
Yeah, I think they're fantastic. I mean, you really can't do anything around the house without them.
But like,
That's
how
even
far
with
does
hanging
it go?
How far does it go?
Yeah, that laser level.
To what accuracy do you want to measure?
I don't know. Like, is it as accurate as this water level?
So what is the accuracy of the water level? What do you need for
It's a
accuracy?
horizontal plane, isn't it? Doesn't it establish
No,
a horizontal
well,
plane?
So here's
Reference.
here's what you're trying to prove. You're trying to prove that do you mind marking those A, B, and C?
They're all the same water level.
Would you? Yes. Do you mind
I'll
marking
mark them
them?
all
please?
A, all
Thank
right,
you.
'cause they're the same
Marking
water
A,
level.
B, and C.
A, and
Nope.
A. Same water level. Because whatever water level's in here, because they're connected, it's the same water level as in here. That's what happens, right?
No, it's not.
What? It's not the same level here in the water level as it
Would
is
you
over here.
please-
Is that what you're
Do
saying?
you mind marking them A, B, and C, please?
No. They are the same water level. This is one water level. Just because there's 3 vials, we'll put another one in here, should we? Do you think it'd be any different?
Do you mind marking them A, B, and C, please?
No. Do you want to draw a picture?
I'm sorry.
Mark him A, B, and C. Let's see what he's got to say,
I'm not.
Bev.
No, because I know what they do with this. They'll then go on Twitter and go, look, he thinks they're 3 different things. He doesn't even know
I'm
what
not-
the water level is. He's marking them
Bevel,
A, B, and C.
Bevel, I'm not recording this. I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to make fun
This
of you.
is one water level. There's no need to mark them A, B, and C. We're living in the real world and we're dealing with the real world here. So are you
Okay.
saying that these should be different than these?
Would you please mark them A, B, and C?
No. Just say, which one do you want me to do and what do you want me to do with them? Just
Call
imagine
the-
them. You imagine them being called A, B, and C. I'll get rid of them other ones because you don't want to talk about them, do you? This is the test, right? So what is it that you want to say about this one here?
So your thought is that if you connect the top of A to the top of A to the top of A, that is one singular straight line.
The top of A. No, this is just the water level. This is the tool, right? We've not put any water in it yet, have we? This is empty, right? I can put the water in. Fill them all up the same, right?
Please do.
They're done. I'll mark it, right? So where it said
Beautiful. Thank you.
this is right reality, right? There you go.
Well, it's
You happy with
reality
that?
on it's reality on your board. So you're
It's horizontal, though,
you're.
right?
I'm sorry. What?
That was horizontal. Like this level here is not just a straight line; it is a horizontal straight line, a level line.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to prove.
Look, that's what it is.
That's what you're trying to prove.
And what I'm trying to prove that's a level.
What you're trying to prove is that the line connecting A to A to A
Yeah.
is indeed a single line or a single plane,
Horizontal.
depending on if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
off center or not.
You think I'm trying
That's
to prove
what you're
that?
trying to
I'm
prove.
trying to show you. It's already been proved. It's already been proved, right?
No, it hasn't.
What? The water level establishes a horizontal plane?
Within what tolerance, my friend?
It's a tool. It's a tool
Within
that's been
what
used for thousands of years.
Every tool has a tolerance.
Well, we know it gets more accurate with distance.
It's more accurate than technology can get, put it that way, over distance.
Would you like a citation, sir?
That is what you're trying to prove.
But no.
Yeah, but you hang on. We're addressing your question, which was with what tolerance?
And you've not addressed it. You just said it gets more accurate with distance. Would you like a citation on that? No, I don't need a citation. Every tool has a tolerance. Every tool has a precision.
The further we go, the more accurate it becomes, right?
Yeah, but bevel is 1 meter apart.
What? Yeah, is
You're
there a
1 meter
scale?
apart right there. On your board, you're
Do we
1
have
meter
a scale?
apart.
Do you have a scale? What's the maximum? Like, what should we say? Do you think scale matters?
Yes.
Oh, right. So you think at some point, at some distance, the horizontal plane that is in here will not be horizontal at some point? Are you willing to put a number to when that stops being horizontal?
Horizontal where?
It is a water level that establishes a horizontal plane of reference.
Okay.
Right? You've just said that over a certain distance...
Nope.
What? No. So that is going to be horizontal over... When will it stop being horizontal?
You just broke up.
When would it stop being horizontal?
At which point between A, and A are we talking?
The whole way. Look, I'll do it again. Boom.
Oh, you're funny.
What scale are we talking about? Here, do you want to put some numbers to it?
We're talking about a 1 meter scale here. So where do you think that that's...
Okay, do you want to put a scale to this drawing?
Do I want to put a scale to the drawing? It's your drawing, buddy.
Okay, well, let's say this here. From here to here, 2 miles.
Would you agree that the water levels would be at the same elevation?
Elevation? Yes.
Great. And what do you understand?
We got some challenges.
What do you understand elevation to mean?
So I live on a curved surface. Water surface is curved. So elevation is relative to some defined point. Typically mean sea level, but
you're making a massive assumption.
You can get them from.
Right?
Yeah, you're assuming a sphere.
You're assuming a flat Earth.
No, I'm showing
I'm
you
not.
a flat.
Well, no, hang on. We're trying to define.
reality.
Hang on. We're trying to define what elevation means. Means that he's going to argue it's to the center of the Earth. Is that right?
The elevation number, any number that you will see in any, not use the center of the Earth as a data point.
What does it use?
All elevations use a different data point. So depending on where you are, that data point is different.
So what does it use? Should we just call it a geoid? Should we just call it a geoid reference point?
We can call the geoid, but let's be careful that the number that you're reading is not to the center of the geoid.
Yeah, but it's an arbitrary position on your.
It's an arbitrary position on the surface of the globe. Yes.
Not the surface of the globe. It's an imaginary line that's below the surface of the globe.
Oh, when you go to the center of the geoid. Yeah, it goes to the center of the geoid.
Now, what if the geoid doesn't actually exist and you're just imagining it?
Well, that's what you're trying to show here, isn't it? And
yeah, but we're saying that you imagine this geoid and it doesn't actually, but a conceptual point.
Yeah, I know that that's what you're saying, but the beautiful thing is the test that Bevel wants to run can actually help clear that up beautifully if done correctly. But what I don't want to do out there, run a test and assume that he knows and has solved the problem, you know, by showing that they're all at the same elevation, because that does not actually show onto a line. It doesn't even show that it's a line, because that condition with same elevation in the water level will be true on a flat or on a geoid. That's the problem.
It can't be, because water level doesn't follow a curve. It's a straight line.
You are assuming that.
No, that's the definition. When it says perpendicular, remember when we had the conversation about perpendicular straight lines? So we weren't saying curves, were we?
You are very, very, very unfortunately trying to conflate definitions in math, which we don't even agree on, with
wait, just a minute before you keep talking about math, right?
Math does not define nature.
I'm not conflating. I'm contrasting terms. You're mistaking my position.
Right.
Go on, Bev. Carry on.
Can you see on the board there? Right. You've got this is a horizontal, and this is a plumb bob doing a vertical. So you've got a level and a vertical, right? They're perpendicular. Would you agree with that?
Do I agree that the two red lines crossing are making right angles?
Look, this is a plumb bob.
I see it.
So this is a plumb bob, and this is a level line, right? Now, this level line is the same as the water level.
So presumably the vertical red line and your plumb bob line are parallel.
Sorry? Say that again.
Your vertical string on the plumb bob and the red line from your laser level are parallel.
Not this one here. No.
I said vertical, right?
Right. So you're saying the vertical red line and the vertical here from the plumb bob are parallel?
As long as they are collinear.
Did you say parallel then?
Let me finish, please. As long as they are right next to each other, actually theoretically exactly on top of each other,
these aren't.
Well, then they're not truly parallel.
Right. Okay. Right. Well, what about? We're not talking about parallels. We're talking about perpendicular. So
I understand.
The level from the water level to here, right? Then this vertical from the plumb bob is passing through that. Is it parallel, perpendicular to the imaginary horizontal line that goes from level to level? Vertical, horizontal, perpendicular.
Are you asking me if the vertical red line is at a right angle?
No, I'm asking you if this water level, boom, here to here, that horizontal plane with this plumb bob. So practical tool.
Mm-hmm.
Is this line perpendicular to that one?
At which point?
I'm asking you. This is a line here, and this is a line here.
Yes. At which point on that line that you label as horizontal Do you want me to answer the question?
Which point do you think? Like the point where the vertical is, that one?
The point where the vertical is,
Mm-hmm.
the midpoint between A on the left and A on the right.
And there. Yeah.
Right? It would have been nicer if you'd labeled them A, B,
So,
and C, because that would make it easier.
In order to know if that is perpendicular, right, to the line, I need to know the midpoint between that one and that one. And only at the midpoint of this horizontal line will this vertical be perpendicular to the horizontal. True? In your model, of course.
Yeah, do you mind doing that again? It sounds right. I just want to make sure that's right. Go ahead. Do you mind repeating it? It sounded right.
In your imagination, this is a horizontal plane, right? And this is a vertical, right? So I think what you're trying to say is that if I measure the midpoint between these two, that will be the only point that this vertical will be perpendicular to that horizontal, right?
To that line that is going across your board, yeah. It
What
will be
line? There's
truly.
no line, it's imaginary. It's
truly
from here to
horizontal.
here. Look, I can do this, can't I? I can do
Yep.
this and bring this over here and put that there. Yeah? Or put it just this side here. Now, would that be perpendicular to the horizontal that goes across there? Or would we have to measure the midpoint again and say that there's the only point?
You would have to measure the midpoint again.
Okay, so only one, right? So you would think, or I'm guessing that you would say, that should somebody go like this and put another plumb bob. So you've got two plumb bobs now are going across a horizontal line. You would say that one, that one's not quite in the middle. So that one isn't perpendicular and that one isn't perpendicular. The only perpendicular vertical you could have on this horizontal is at a measured distance in between where the two ends of the water level are. True?
I believe that your statement is correct, yes.
Okay, so let's take these out of the way again.
No, keep it. Keep it.
Right, so
Keep them down.
you've got this water level.
Do you mind keeping them down for a second?
No, it's okay. I've put them down. Just imagine a vertical, that's not
No.
perpendicular to a
Please
horizontal.
drop
I mean, surely you can do that.
Wait, yeah, please drop it because I'm going to make a point. Please drop. Thank you.
There you go.
All right. So if you take a look at those two plumb bobs, as Maine surveyor showed, and you don't have to believe him. You can actually go do this yourself. Maybe get some help doing it. That the inclusive angle between those two is not 180 degrees. So they are not parallel.
They're not perpendicular to the horizontal.
They are not both perpendicular to the same horizontal.
They are
correct.
both verticals, though, right? They're both verticals. They're a practical tool for establishing a vertical. Yeah.
At a location.
Yeah.
Not over. You cannot use a plumb bob and go 5 miles away and reference that plumb bob and call it and just assume that it's parallel because it's not. Because
are you like the Maine surveyor imagining that this vertical that this one establishes its own horizontal, and this one would have to have a completely different horizontal? Have to.
That's correct.
Right. Okay. So that's some screwed up geometry, that right? Vertical and horizontal are perpendicular, are they?
That's what your test is trying to show. So in going back to your test,
my test isn't trying to show whether vertical and horizontal are perpendicular. You do understand that, right?
Yes, I do. So if your test
that's
is
a
trying
known
to show,
fact, right?
Your test is trying to show that the level in the elevation, the black line in A,
Yep.
if you draw a line from that through the black line in A to the black line in A, that is a single straight line. That is your hypothesis.
That's what level is. That's yeah.
Okay.
Provable. Provable,
Well,
right?
that's what you're trying to show, right?
This is 2 miles, right? This is 2 miles. We'll scale it up to 2 miles. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
You're okay
Yes.
with that? Right. So.
By the way, you
at this
got some
point here, the halfway
challenges there.
point- At the halfway point, it's a mile,
Yes.
and you think that if we put a level and one in the middle, tap one into here, that this bit here, we'll just tap one in right in the middle, and we'll put it up there. What will happen to it?
The water will be at the same elevation as A and A.
Okay. Straight line.
No.
No, so it won't be at the same elevation then. It's higher, is it?
No, at the same elevation.
So it's a straight line.
No, it's not.
Oh, you think this line here that we go like that these are all at the same elevation? You think that's a curved line?
I think what the line that's on your board is
It's a level
not
line.
curved. It's not curved.
No, it's not. You're right.
Excellent. Okay.
Do
so
you
no, I
imagine
don't.
that is curved though? If we scale this up to 2 miles, do you imagine that this level line would become a curved line?
So turn your laser level off for a second, because you're going to get poked in the eye if you don't. So what you're trying to show is that the laser line that you just had on going from A to A to A is a straight line. Which means if you sight from A to A, center point A has to be on that same line. That is your hypothesis.
What? That level works like that?
You can't do it with a level. You need to actually
Well,
sight,
this is a water
because
level.
the
This is-
level will show exactly the same height in all 3 locations on both a globe and a
Horizontal, right? Is that the problem that you have? You think that this isn't a horizontal, right? You think this
It's a-
isn't a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference? Is that the problem you have?
within a tolerance. It's actually
What
very, very
tolerance?
good.
What scale? Come on, give us some numbers.
Over 2 miles.
Yeah.
Okay, I just did.
Well, what?
You're not following me yet.
How much curvature do you imagine that this straight line has over a mile? Like total curvature, if you want to go from one end to the other, or if you want to imagine some sort of other curve, give us a distance where this is higher. Like, give us some numbers, some measurements.
Okay. So the Sagitta on over 1 mile, 2-inch.
Yeah, but it's 2 miles we're doing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
End to end.
I don't remember the number. I'd have to go calculate it.
2 miles.
Over a
So
mile.
That would be 1 mile, right?
Yeah, let's call the whole thing 1 mile, not
No,
2
no, no.
miles.
The whole thing is 2 miles.
Yeah, I
So
understand
when
that.
you go from one end to the centre, that is 1 mile.
Yes.
Okay, so what is the difference from here to here, please?
In terms of what?
Well,
In terms of elevation?
imagine
In terms of
it's
elevation,
here.
0. In terms of elevation, 0.
Right, so this dude we've got stood here. Right, he's looking. Now, when he looks, let's say he's got a level, and he's looking through a level that's horizontal. What's going to happen to the water as he's looking? Is it going to be at the same elevation?
You're going to take a theodolite at A,
Yeah.
and you're going to point it at A.
Let's do it. We got that. You see that one? We can have this dude. Imagine he's looking along here. He's looking along this level line. What's going to happen?
Okay, well, that's
to
going
the
to be
water?
that's going to be a little bit hard to do, right? Because
Why?
that red line is at his feet, right?
It's an optical. Well, let's just imagine it's a bit higher. Should we?
You guys have great imaginations. Well, I shouldn't say you guys. Bevel, you have great imagination. Oh, shit.
Sorry. Go on, carry on. You're going to say what happens.
You good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you measuring drop or are you measuring Sagita? Two different things.
There you go. Is that better for you? Does that look better? He's looking.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Right,
Yeah, it
so
looks
he's
cool.
looking. What happens to this water level from here, from where he's looking?
So if you're looking out through a theodolite,
Yep.
and you're looking from A to the left,
Yep.
with a theodolite,
Yep.
A will be lower and A will be lower than
Right, so
that
this-
line of the theodolite.
Like, so if we're looking from here, this way, this, we'll put it on this side here. Say that's lower. It's a mile. So if you got a number, shall we do some imaginary numbers? How much imaginary drop do you imagine? Inches?
Why don't you go measure it?
Wait, yeah. Give us an ish, just an average. I think
Oh.
Jesse and all the main surveyor have 8. Does that sound reasonable? 8 inch?
Sounds reasonable.
So that's 8 inch. And then this one over 2 miles, what would that be? That would be also
I don't know.
down, but it would be down more, right?
Yes.
Like how much, do you know? Are you any good at imaginary maths or not? No? Do you want me to help you?
You know, so Bev,
Do you want me to help you? 32 inch.
Bevel,
32 inch.
Bevel,
Now, wait a minute.
Bevel.
Just a minute.
Bevel,
Just a minute.
Bevel.
We're gonna-
The next time you use the word imaginary, I'm going to start referring to you as she again.
We've got. It's all right. You
So-
can do that if you want to be really grown up about that and tell everybody that
Yeah,
you
well,
call
then-
me
then-
Beverly, because that's really good, very clever. Right now, this guy
So
is
if
on
I
the
hear
other
you use
side.
the word imaginary one more time, I'm going to start
Right,
doing
this-
that.
this
It's not
guy-
imaginary math, so
This
grow
guy-
up, Bevel.
This guy is looking the other way. Now, how far is this one? Can we say it's sort of symmetry? Can we do that? Yeah.
Keep going.
You all right with that? If we keep the symmetry going, right? So it's 8 inches down from there, and that is 32 inches down from this guy looking. Right? You were good? Hello?
Fantastic.
Right?
I'm
okay.
fantastic.
Well, let's put another dude here, just for the hell of it, with another thing. But this one here, he's looking. It's only going to go down 8 inches for him. And then this guy here, when he's looking this way, it's only going to go down 8 inches for him too. Okay? You like that?
What's your point?
Well, you've got a logical inconsistency here, because if this guy walks, let's get him on a canal. He's going to get on his canal in a little barge or whatever, and he's going to paddle away, and he's going to go down 8 inches, and he's going to get here. But then he's going to turn round, and he's going to go back this way. But he's going to go down again. And then if he turns around and comes back again, he's going down. He's always dropping. How does that work? Logically, please.
He's dropping off an imaginary plane that you've created.
Did you just say imaginary?
Every
I'm gonna
plane
have
is
to ban you for
imaginary.
doing that.
Every plane
Am I-
is imaginary, my friend.
If you keep saying that.
Yeah, but this is where I was getting to, Bev, before you interrupted rudely before. So
Sorry.
give me a minute. Let me get this back. You know, before when we were talking about the geoid model and the elevation, whatever geoid model that you want to refer to, whatever geoid reference that you refer to, we agreed that it was an arbitrary point on a geoid, an imaginary conceptual thing. Do you remember agreeing to that bit before?
Okay.
You know, when you have a mathematical model, if you treat the mathematical model as real world, it has a name for that. Do you know what that expression is?
Go ahead. Please proceed.
It's called reification. And it's a logically fallacious position to hold.
Fantastic.
can't-
Guys, then go measure it. Because what you guys are doing is exactly what you just described.
Back off the mic.
Until you've actually measured it, you guys are all wet.
Are all what? Wet? Did you just say wet?
I think so.
Yes.
Has he gone?
No, he's
No,
still
I'm
here.
here.
He's right there.
Okay, so in the live stream text, I'm going to put the definition, or a definition for reification. And I want you to take me through this and see, do you foul it with your geoid model and your
Tony,
elevation?
can I just check that, like, there is a canal. Now, the stretch of canal between locks has the same elevation, right? Are you going to go say okay with that? You're going to agree that a stretch of canal in between locks has the same elevation?
Depends on the canal, but if you have a non-flowing canal, yes.
Okay. So you just imagine that that is curved.
It is curved.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted. You realise the test will be able to prove that curvature, right?
That's my whole point. That is my whole point, Bevel. Run the test. So what you're doing is you are taking a 3-element water level, and you're going to have the far ends 2 miles apart and the middle at 1 mile apart from each of the two ends.
And then,
Then you're going
we put some other
Can I finish,
levels
please?
in.
Can I finish, please?
Yeah.
Then you're going to put water in this level, and you're going to measure the height of the water above the water surface, I imagine.
That's one of the ways to do it, yeah. Like
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But you're going to establish that all 3 points are at the same elevation.
do you want
That
to
is what
see
you're-
do you want to see all of the checks that we're going to have for it?
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
Right?
So
Because-
you've come to discuss the test, and
No.
now you're just going to assume what the test is and how the test works to
Will you-
establish all of the checks of the
Will you-
levels within
will
the
you-
test.
Will you please let me finish, and then you can go ahead and do what you want to do. Please let me finish.
I don't want him to finish.
Okay, then we're done, guys. Have a nice day.
Bye. That guy was really getting on my nerves. Sorry, Bev.